Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Goetz, and I'm a master's student at the Virginia Institute of Marine Science. At VIMS, I study salt marsh invertebrates, specifically how sea level rise causes the marsh to migrate into the forest, killing the trees and forming ghost forest, and how that new ghost forest marsh can support marsh organisms. So my lesson plan is geared toward 7th grade life science, and the main purpose is really to get students to understand marsh migration and to introduce this idea that different species have different habitat requirements. So some plants and animals may be able to move into the new marsh habitat that's forming in the ghost forest before others are able to. So the first part of this lesson is focused on how ghost forests form. And to do that in a hands-on way, students can create a marsh model like this one to demonstrate marsh migration. So in this tub, the clay is our marsh. We have toothpicks that represent our marsh grasses and green pipe cleaners to represent the forest. To represent sea level rise, we will pour more water into the tub like this. So that's now some of our trees are inundated in salt water and they will die. So the students will have to kind of manipulate the different components to show how the vegetation might change under sea level rise to show what they think will happen. So some of our live trees, the green pipe cleaners, will be replaced with dead trees, which are represented by brown pipe cleaners. And also our marsh grass can migrate inland. Because more of the ground is now intertidal and salty. So you can add more of those toothpicks farther inland. And now we've made a ghost forest habitat. And the second part of this lesson plan is a game to see what animals might actually live in that new ghost forest. So this is a game that's meant to be played outside or in kind of a big open space. And students will essentially mimic this clay model with the addition of animals. So some students will hold jump ropes and act as kind of the salinity line or the high tide line that's moving into the forest. And other students will be the flood line, which is sort of the point at which the salt marsh drowns and intertidal species can't live there anymore. And the rest of the students will get cards like this that give them a role to play in the game with specific instructions on how they can move in the marsh as sea level rises and as the salinity and flood lines move inland. So some students' organisms might be able to keep up with the migrating marsh and move into the ghost forest. And some of the organisms might drown because they're pickier about the type of habitat they live in. And they might have to wait a little bit longer before they can migrate inland into the forest, into the ghost forest. And students will follow up this game with a class discussion and reflection, and by completing a worksheet that to go with the game. So thanks so much for watching, and I'm happy to answer any other questions about this lesson plan.